Jeff, good to see you again, good sir. We were talking a little bit about travel, and one thing, especially as I look back on my life and as I think about also things that I want to do, travel is often involved, and I've always been a very diligent worker. I've always busted my tail with work, but I've done it so that I can pretty much do what I want and have what I want in my life. I've got my dream car, and we go on a lot of fun trips. And actually, just got back from New York, and earlier in the year we went to Hawaii. I know you just did Disney, so wanted to talk today about the role that travel plays in your life and how it keeps you fresh.
Yeah, I love it. I would say that it's changed over time. I think, obviously when I was younger and I was single, there were, different types of travel I would do. Then with my wife, we've had some really fun vacations where we've been able to go on. Our honeymoon was in Bora Bora, and then we got to do like a Ritz-Carlton yacht, which was amazing. We've done some pretty cool vacations, and as you said, it's kind of like what you work for is your ability to go out and kind of do these fun and interesting things. Um, Even this past weekend, I did two things which were pretty cool. I took my dad. My dad is turning 75. He's a University of Michigan alum. So we took him to the Michigan football game in Ann Arbor, which was a lot of fun. So my brother and I, my mom, we had a great time. And then I flew to Buffalo on Sunday morning where I got to see the New England Patriots take down the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football. And whenever I do these trips, I try to make the most of them, and I try to really absorb like the local vibes. So in Buffalo, obviously had to go and find the best buffalo wings that we could get while we were there. I was only there for a day, so that was the thing that we needed to do. Same thing in Michigan with kind of the local food spots. But now that we have a kid, the travel thing has changed again, and it's more limited. I don't get to travel as much, but we did get to take our daughter Josie to Disney World, a few weeks ago, and that was like, a week long vacation, and it was her first trip, first time on an airplane. I'll be honest, I was mildly excited about it. I felt maybe like it wasn't going to be actually a vacation for me because Disney is stressful and there's a lot of stuff to plan and a lot of lines and it's just a lot of logistics taking a toddler down there. It far surpassed my expectations. I think that one thing that was amazing about it is just the overall vibe and how happy people are, and just it's just a happy place to be.
Yeah.
But I think the other one and the more obvious one is just seeing the excitement through my daughter's eyes of all the stuff we were doing and meeting the characters. I had sent a video to my family. I send, pictures and videos of her to my family. And I had sent a video of us on the It's a Small World ride. And my mom, texted me back that, watching the video made my father cry because he remembered me on that same ride like 34 years ago, looking at everything with wide-eyed wonder. And it made me realize that in some ways, these memories, obviously, they're for your children. But my daughter's also too young. She won't remember this. She's too young when we took her. But a lot of it too is the experience for you as a parent. The fact that my father, I have no memory of this memory my father has of me, but he still has that memory 34 years later, clearly. And so as I was, watching her take all of this in, I really tried to absorb it and make sure that I would remember it. So that was really cool. I'm looking forward to being able to do more of that stuff as she gets older. And it was a ton of fun. Definitely motivation to try to do well in work so that we can have those opportunities. Love to hear about yours. You were just in New York, like you said. You've done Disney many times. So tell me about your experiences.
Yeah, man. It's funny. Here's a pro tip when it comes to travel. Plan Planning helps, and planning as best as you can, but also being spontaneous and being open to the experience, because you're right. Like anytime you travel, there's a lot of stress involved, and It's hard sometimes to plan far in advance, especially with I just never know in my working world what's going to be going on. But had some spontaneous trips over the last few years. You know, my wife and I just like flew to Vegas last year to go to the Super Bowl, or year before to see the 49ers play the Chiefs. I'm a 49ers fan. She's a Chiefs fan. We'll never forget it. And that was very spontaneous. We were, watching the playoffs the week prior and just decided what the heck. And thankfully my mom was able to watch the kiddos. And then other stuff like this year, I just kind of on a whim decided to go to Boston. And you and I hung out and went to
Yeah.
Cheers and Fenway. And even though it got rained out, had a good time. I think about experiences, especially at this stage in my life and career. It's a lot, I've had a lot of successful experiences with work. And so the stuff that I get an itch to do is like new experiences that I can have. 2 years ago, my oldest daughter had told me, that her bucket list trip was New York City, and she's a senior in high school and turned 18, and I surprised her, and my wife was instrumental in helping me plan this, and surprised her and just took her to New York City this past weekend, and we packed a lot in, saw a couple shows, went to a bunch of like hot spots that I knew she'd like the Seinfeld restaurant and the Ghostbusters firehouse, and stuff that she'll never forget. I think about trips when I was a kid and, my parents taking me to stuff that some of it I didn't even appreciate at the time, like a lot of the historical significant things that now I love. But then furthermore, like, taking me to Disney. And then I was able to take my parents and my wife and our oldest to Disney back in 2013. And then again, last year we went with the newer kids, and they're all able to have these experiences. But everybody's experience is different. My now 18-year-old, she was 5 when we had gone, and we were able to like recreate some of the pictures that we took way back then, and she still remembered that trip. And a few years back, we took our middle kid, when she was relatively young, and it was stressful, but we went to Jamaica and she still remembers it. Kids have a way of glamorizing those types of experiences. So even though it's kind of crazy in the day to day and getting there and doing the things, you do look back and you have fond memories of all of the stuff. And so I think it's important to mix a little bit of balance of being proactive, planning ahead where you can, knowing when you can take that time to refresh, recharge, refuel. Mine's usually at the beginning of a new fiscal year after the year is done. And so I always, try to prioritize that with the family of taking some time off in July and doing something fun. In years past, we've done the cruise, we've done Disney. One time we went to a bed and breakfast not too far from here and just, went fishing with the kids in a quiet place. So, just trying to find that time to refresh, recharge. But sometimes it can be very spontaneous. If there's something that you're itching to do, just make it happen. And, that is why I bust my tail so that I can do those things with my family and give them the experiences that I hope they'll remember forever.
Love it. Yeah, lots of great ones in there. I'm a little jealous of some of those trips that you have.
We got
Uh,
time, man. I'm
yeah,
I'm I'm quite a bit older, so you got time to go do all those fun things.
yeah, we'll get you back. We'll get you back to Fenway next year, hopefully, or whenever the
Absolutely.
Cardinals are back.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, their season is over currently. I miss October baseball, but still got the 49ers to root for. They're, top of the heap in the NFL. So
That's right. Thanks to the Patriots helping you out. Yeah,
Mac.
yeah,
Yeah, Mac Jones, baby.
yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks, Carson. It was a good chat.
Always a pleasure, my friend. We'll see you next time.